Good morning or afternoon or evening whenever you're watching this video. This month was a little different. We are having only an online training for the book Nobody Knew What to Do. So today you get me. Miss Eileen has been covering for the last few months and now you get me. The book for this month is Nobody Knew What to Do. And this is a very important book. It talks about tattling versus telling. It explains kind of why caring adults are so important. So this is actually as much a lesson for our readers and our parent community as it is for the students. It's very important when you go into the room this month, do your normal introduction, but also really reinforce that you are a caring adult. And explain what that means. Explain that a caring adult is someone who is there on campus, whether it's a lot or a little, who will listen without any repercussions of the students for telling you things. It's you're a safe place for students who are maybe upset or trying to deal with feelings or questions, or if, again with this book, maybe they're being bullied or they're noticing bullying, or they're having instances where they're feeling uncomfortable and they need someone to talk to, and you are someone they can go to for help. It's very important that they understand that you are that person to them in that class, but that there are others at the school. And let them know parents are caring adults, grandparents, aunts, uncles, but also their principal, also other Project Cornerstone readers that they'll see, other parents that they know, their friends' parents. They're caring adults as well, especially other teachers if they're having an issue, and the support staff, you know, our secretary, our everybody on campus that is here working for them. They can be caring adults, and so really reinforce that they are not alone, that they have adult helpers there that are wanting to help them learn, grow, and work on what they're having issues with. So that's kind of a really important one, so really kind of reinforce that, and maybe tell a story about when you were a student and something was happening and you had to find a caring adult, and who did you find? You know, for me, I was having trouble with a couple of girls because I like to play sports at lunch. They thought that was silly and weird, and so they were trying to bully me. So I went to the school librarian, who happened to be one of my own caring adults, and I talked to her about it, and she says, they can think what they want, but do you like playing sports at lunch? Yes, I do. That is not a problem. So she really, really helped me, and so that's an example you can give your students. Something that happened to you that you needed a caring adult, you suck one out, or you seeked one out. Brain's early morning, it's kind of hard to focus on words, but you looked for someone, they helped you, and so give them that example, let them know that they're not alone and that they do have that option. The other thing is, the project for this one, it's going to be towards the end, so there's not going to be much other than the discussion in the beginning, and that's going to be tattle versus telling, which is kind of a big issue at schools. There's the tattletale, there's some of the other words, snitch, narc, those are kind of words that have been used, unfortunately. And so there's that. So what I want you to do before you read the book is kind of tell them, you know, what is, just in general, what is tattletaling? Okay, it's, you know, actively just seeking out just to continually say something or do something without really having a upstander idea about it. And then telling is safety. I look at it as safety. So kind of just do that. Now, this book, Nobody Knew What to Do, has a few different people involved. There's the bystanders, and explain, especially the younger kids, bystanders are someone who just standing by watching something happen. They're not helping the situation, they're not hurting the situation, but they are involved because they are seeing actively what's going on. Then there's the bully, and then what's the other word that we were using? They like to use their special words. And then there's then there's the joiners, who join kind of along with the bully. So maybe they're not actively bullying, but when the bully does something, they start laughing with them and they're kind of standing with them, or maybe add a little bit to the bullying. And then you have an upstander, who is someone who, what we want all of our students to be, who says something, who says this is not okay, or helps the student in any way. And so that's what we're going to be looking for in our book. So remind the students, when we're reading, who's a bystander, who's the bully, who's a joiner, who's an upstander in the story, and have them really thinking about that, because that will help them understand the story a little bit better. And then you read. Nobody Knew What to Do, a story about bullying, Becky Ray McCain. Nobody likes to think about it. Even though we know it's not okay, a hurt person with words, nobody likes to think about it. Barbara. Nobody likes to think about it, even though we know it is not okay to hurt a person with words or things, or with the way we behave. So when some kids in my class started picking on Ray, when the teachers were busy and just couldn't see, nobody knew what to do. I could not find a way to tell them to stop, so I squeezed my eyes shut, closed my mouth very tight, cut my hands to my ears, and hoped the mean words would fade away. Ray was trying hard to be brave. I hoped he could keep going until he fit in. The next recess, we bunched together. Nobody said, I feel safer this way. We just did, except Ray. The bullies yanked him out of our group. They used words and fists to make all of us so afraid that nobody, not one of us, would ever say, this is not okay. The next morning, Ray didn't come to school. At recess, the ones who bullied started cheering because Ray wasn't around. I didn't mean to, but I heard bad things they were planning to do when Ray came back to school. That's when I knew I had to do something. I walked quietly to my teacher because she listens. I told her what had happened to Ray. She said I helped by telling the truth, so we could all figure out what to do. When Ray came back, he looked nervous and afraid. So I said, play with us at recess. And he did. You know what? When the kids who bullied him came around, so did my teacher. So did my principal. And she called the parents of everyone who had been mean to Ray. Nobody bullied that day. We won't let it happen. Together, we know what to do and say to make sure bullying is never okay. We work together to make it end. So this book is a little intense. It gets right to the point that bullying happens, and it singles people out. Maybe this has happened to some of our own students. And they maybe didn't know what to do, or maybe their friends didn't know what to do. And so this is a good conversation piece about what happened. So finding out, who the upstanders were. The main boy in the story, he was a bystander. He didn't do anything for a while until he finally got to the point where he was really scared for Ray's safety. And then he finally said something. And then he brought Ray in. The principal and his teacher became caring adults, and they helped take care of the situation. Now, a lot of kids might say, well, that's tattletaling. But is it really tattletaling when it's someone's safety? No. So that's where it really becomes in. And it doesn't have to be physical safety. It could be emotional safety. It could be mental safety. If Ray didn't come to school because he was so afraid of coming in to face those bullies, it could make him feel sick. He maybe said he had a stomach ache. Those are things, if kids are continually saying, oh, I have a tummy ache, they maybe not be feeling emotionally or mentally safe where they are. And so letting them know that they can talk about it to a caring adult, that's important. Also, to have other students aware that that happens, and that it's not just bullying is not just getting hit or having your ball taken away or mean things. But it can also be making people feel unsafe or unwelcome is another one, where if the students maybe can't, someone's an outsider, not allowed to play in a group, that's still there, so the student's not feeling safe. You can say something and say, come to our group, come play with us, or come watch what we're doing, we want you involved. Those are ways to help those students who are being bullied. And it's saying something to that other student, and it's saying something to caring adults to kind of help. Maybe you want another student but you don't know how to approach them. Ask an adult. They can help facilitate having a conversation with that student to say, hey, we want them, they want to play with you. Is that okay with you? Would you like to do that? Those are the best ways to help as a caring adult. Just tell the students what they need to do, how they can do that. And so this story with the bullies, they found out what was happening. Now, there was a group of bullies. It didn't really go into detail about one specific bully, but if that's how it's happening, and then you have joiners that join in with the bully, it creates a group. And so that you can talk to the other kids. Like maybe there's a student who is in the bullying group as a joiner, and they don't really want to be in that bullying group, but they're afraid that if they are not there, that they're going to be the ones getting bullied. Again, if that's a situation, remind the students, even if you're in the bullying group, if you say something to a caring adult, you're helping the safety of other students, and it's not tattletaling, it's safety again. So kind of go through that. You can ask the students if they've had similar situations and talk it through with them. You can also ask them some questions like, who is your most, who is a trusted adult that you would tell in a situation like this, and have them give you answers. Some kids, might say some random, like my godfather. I had that a few weeks ago when I had someone talk about that. It could be, anyone on campus. So just ask them who, actively, who on campus, who do you see daily that is a caring adult? Just to kind of put names out there so that they understand that they do have them on campus, and that those are people that they can immediately go to for help. And then also give them others as well. Make sure that they know that there are at any time at least 5 to 10 caring adults on campus at all times. So if one is not there that day, you can find another one to make sure that they know that. And then we're going to go more in depth with our activity, because really, with kindergarten, the lower grades, tattletelling, it's kind of a big deal. It comes up a lot. Kids are finding their way. They're finding out how to get attention that's positive. They're trying to figure out kind of what places they're in, as far as what they should tell and what they shouldn't tell, and what's important to tell and what's not. And so this is really good for them all the way up to 5th grade, because with 5th grade, it's not like you're a tattletale. It's more like you're a narc, or you're a teacher's pet, those types of things. And then again through middle school, it just continues. So I think it's important to differentiate the two of tattling versus telling. And so we have this. Now, I did it on poster board because it's easier to show on camera, but you could do it on the board. You can do it, you can also do it on a poster, and you can start it off by doing one column and then the other, or kind of do both. But I'm going to show you a few of them here. They are in our information packet within our Project Cornerstone binders, so you'll be able to see what they have in there. But so for the tattle, we have trouble, meaning the student wants to cause trouble. So if you're tattling because you want to get a certain student in trouble, that's a tattle. But if you're doing it to help protect that student, and mentally or physically or emotionally, you're protecting, so that's a tell. So if that student is, say, poking himself really hard with a pencil, I'm using a kinder example, and they're hurting themselves, instead of saying, he's playing with a pencil, it's like he's playing with a pencil and he's stabbing himself. So you're protecting the student from getting hurt, from hurting themselves. Another tattle is revenge. If you're doing something vengefully, if a student maybe was not playing with you on the yard and you wanted to show them that you're mad and that you're upset and you want to get revenge on them, that's a tattletale. That's just doing it for that reason, to get them in trouble because they hurt you or they made you feel bad. But to tell, it's actually preventing. So again, if a student maybe is doing something that is causing them trouble or could cause them in trouble, like maybe they're not staying within the confines of the playground or the play yard, and you're trying to prevent them from getting into more trouble or to getting hurt or to doing something that's very bad for them, you're helping prevent what can happen in that situation. So again, that's a tell. That's not a tattle. If you are seeking, and there's a few of these that are very similar. I think some of the verbiage for the older kids is kind of down here, but if you are seeking attention, and if you're seeking the attention to tell on somebody, that's a tattle. That's not a tell. That's you want the attention. You want to be the one to say something. That's you, and that's a tattle. But down here for the older ones, it's all about me. It's very similar. I would say that one's more, it's all about me. I want the attention. I want the light on me. I want to be the best kid. I want to be the star. So that's a tattle. Whereas instead of safety, and again, really telling is in, as you can tell, protect, prevent, safe, problem solving, getting help, power for others. Those are tells. Those are trying to help others feel safe, feel protected, feel welcomed, feel empowered that they can protect themselves emotionally and physically. That's when you're telling. That's what you need to do to be an upstander, and that's why it's right here. It's very important to delineate the two, because I think, especially in the younger grades, we have a lot of the tattle. I would say for the older grades, tattle, it is kind of a younger word. I would also loop this in almost in a way with gossip. With a teacher, but we're going to use tattle just because we're trying to talk about when you tell a teacher or when you tell an adult what this is. But this really, in the world of 3rd, 4th, 5th, and up, is more gossip and aimed at that way to get people in trouble. So that's kind of what you're going to do. You can come up with more. If you want, you can ask the kids for some examples. For the older grades, because the book is not that long, if you do have more time in your class, you can even do like a little skit and show someone, telling on someone, and ask the kids, okay, is this a tattle or is this a tell? And just kind of have something up. If this student comes out after a bullying incident and tells and says something, was that a tattle? Was it a tell? But I think this is really important to go over very in depth, just to let them know that it's okay, and it's actually important to tell when these are your reasons. If you have a student who's not being played with but is being bullied or literally shut out because of who they are, that's a tell. You have to tell. You have to find a caring adult and be an upstander, because we want to protect all of our students no matter what. Even if that person is not your friend, you want to make sure that you are an upstander and you are taking care of their safety. And then once that's done, we close out with our upstander pledge, which is perfect because this is becoming an upstander. Telling is being an upstander. And then close it out. I would ask also if you have any questions, and again reiterate that you are a caring adult and that they can come and talk to you. And sometimes you may have someone at the end who says, can I talk to you for a minute? And that's actually happened with me a couple of times over the last couple of years, that I've had students say, can I talk to you for a minute? And of course the teacher's like, yes, you can go and have a chat. And so they would talk to me about certain things, and I can help them that way. But just make sure to really let them know that you care about each and every one of them, and that no matter where you are on campus or off campus, you are there for them. And that's it for this month. Thank you, and have a wonderful reading session.